There is a fierce kind of wisdom in pretending to know less than you do. Schopenhauer called it playing dumb. Not shame for being smart, but strategy for staying sane. He noticed a surprising fact. Intelligence, when shown too early or too loudly, can spark envy, fear, resistance. You expose yourself unnecessarily. Imagine walking into a room and deliberately acting a little lost, asking simple, naive questions. People relax. They speak openly, and in that moment, you absorb everything they don't show others. This is not foolish. It's powerful. It's the art of being underestimated. Schopenhauer explained that showing obvious intelligence often invites hostility or jealousy. He wasn't telling us to hide our minds. He was showing us how to avoid social traps. By feigning ignorance, we lower others' guard, reduce friction, and free our attention. We don't waste energy proving ourselves. Instead, we collect information. This isn't deception. It's deliberate restraint. And it's a defense against social noise, ego-driven competition, and intellectual exhaustion. The empty fort strategy in ancient China illustrates this perfectly. The general Zhuge Liang opened his gates, sat calmly, and pretended his troops had fled. The enemy, convinced of a trap, retreated. No force, no clash. Just deliberate underestimation. That strategy echoes Schopenhauer's insight: appear weaker and gain control. In our digital age, where everyone posts achievements, think-aloud statements, and hot takes, there's a cost. People get defensive. Algorithms reward noise. You feel compelled to perform. But Schopenhauer's wisdom offers peace. Stop trying to be seen as smart. Instead, let your actions show it when it matters. There's subtle strength in silence, pause, and unassuming listening. It shields you from burnout, from needing validation, from being drawn into meaningless comparisons. True strength doesn't seek attention. It waits for the right moment. So how can you apply this today? In work, in social media, in conversations, choose silence over proving your point. When tempted to argue, to be right, pause. Ask yourself, do I need to say this? Or am I defending how smart I look? Pause rebuilds your power. It turns reactions into choices. Ask simple questions. Use them sparingly. When people feel heard, not challenged, they open up. You gain insight others hide. You disrupt hierarchy without claiming a seat at the table. Reveal your skill when it matters. Keep your thinking concealed. Then, when there's real pressure, opportunity, or need, step forward with clarity. You don't need constant spotlight. You need timing. Imagine you're a forest stream beneath the surface. Others scream over rocks, fight for space. You flow quietly, carve your path gently, and when you meet the ocean or a waterfall, your strength surges. Not because you competed, but because you persisted beneath the noise. That's the quiet rebellion Schopenhauer offered. Not loud, not showy, but unstoppable. You can stop exhausting yourself trying to look intelligent. You can stop fighting unseen battles instead of working your true path. Instead, you can decide to observe more, speak less, move with purpose. In a world desperate for attention, those who show up only when it matters become untouchable. Most of us live in a constant state of display. We show our wins, our opinions, our cleverness, hoping someone will validate it. But Schopenhauer would argue that this very need to display is what weakens us. When you constantly seek recognition, you hand over control of your value to other people. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine you walk through life without the urge to prove anything. You don't need applause. You don't fear being underestimated because you know that silence isn't weakness. It's preparation. That shift doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. This mindset frees you. It removes the invisible pressure to compete in meaningless battles. You no longer measure yourself by how quickly you win arguments or how fast you can impress strangers. Instead, you build a quieter strength, one that grows while everyone else is busy performing. Schopenhauer understood that most people can't handle raw truth. They prefer appearances. So let them have their show. Stand back, learn, and save your strength for moments that actually matter. Because when you stop running with the crowd, you can finally see the path they're too busy to notice. Think about this in a practical way. You're in a meeting and everyone is arguing over a minor detail. The loudest voices dominate. Most people either fight back or shut down. But if you follow Schopenhauer's wisdom, you don't do either. You stay quiet, you watch, you collect every piece of information no one else is noticing. Then, when the noise burns itself out, you step in with one calm sentence that cuts through the chaos, and suddenly everyone listens, not because you fought for their attention, but because you timed it perfectly. This is what it means to play the long game. It's not about hiding forever. It's about conserving your power until the moment it will have the greatest impact. And here's what makes it even more powerful. While others exhaust themselves, you remain still. And in that stillness, you become dangerous in the best possible way. People underestimate you until they can't anymore. This is why playing dumb isn't really dumb at all. It's discipline disguised as simplicity. It's the quiet mastery of choosing when to act, instead of reacting to every impulse, every provocation, every urge to prove yourself. And that's the part nobody tells you. The less you try to be impressive, the more impressive you become. Now the question is, how do you start living this way? The answer is simpler than you think. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to practice one thing: restraint. Restraint is power in slow motion. Every time you choose to listen instead of speak, every time you hold back your clever remark, every time you wait until the right moment, you're sharpening your blade while everyone else is swinging theirs wildly. This is where real authority comes from. Quiet, patient, undeniable authority. Restraint feels unnatural at first because we're trained to chase approval and prove ourselves. But when you stop fighting for attention, something powerful happens. You start seeing clearly. You see how much energy people waste trying to win meaningless arguments. You watch how intelligence becomes performance instead of substance. And for the first time, you step out of the noise. This is where Schopenhauer's wisdom comes alive. When you no longer need to be the smartest voice in the room, you gain the freedom to observe, to think, and to act only when it matters. And in that quiet space, you build real strength. Here's how you can start. Stop announcing your every move. Let results speak louder than promises. Ask more than you tell, because naive questions open doors that clever speeches never will. And learn to embrace being underestimated. It's not an insult. It's a shield, because in a world desperate to be seen, the one who can stay invisible until the right moment will always have the advantage. So pause. Watch, let them underestimate you, and when the time comes, reveal exactly what you've been capable of all along. That's not weakness, that's power in disguise. And if you can master it, you won't just be smart, you'll be untouchable.